And hello everybody and welcome to the Total War official channel. I am your host for today, Dogbert, CA Hoodie, what other names have I got? James, that's my birth name, so I've got that one as well. So guys, I just realised I'm doing something horrifically wrong. I'm actually playing my own stream while streaming. Always ends real bad. So, guys, please let me know if the audio is good. I don't want everyone to get kind of confused, and if I am too loud, let me know. I think I might be. I'm going to knock myself down just a little bit. Yeah, okay, guys. So, welcome to today's stream. 1 of 3. We'll be doing quite a few of these up until Wednesday. So, I'm going to be going through the preview build, which a few of our guys have managed to get. And so from then on out, I'm just going to be playing through the factions. We've got quite a few to go through. I'm going to just quickly show you guys what we have. You know, as much as I actually quite like the music, and I'm sure you guys have been listening to it for a minute, when you have someone talking over, it sometimes can be a little loud. I don't know about you with the soundtrack. I'm getting the vibe of Mongolian Invasion, if any of you guys ever played the expansion pack for Shogun. So, here you go. We've got the Barbarian Kingdoms. We've got the Franks here. I'm sure maybe some of you guys have seen... You know, I'm going to turn that sound down a bit more because it's putting me off now. As much as I love it and all that. So there we go. We've got the Barbarian Kingdoms. We've got the Franks, starting out there in New Holland. Ferocious warriors, that'll be their faction trait. So I'm just going to go quickly through some of the faction traits here to give you guys kind of an idea of what we have, and then you guys can pick exactly what we want, just to make sure everything is okay. Cool. So I'll go back in. I'm actually using my phone for the chat, so it might be a little delayed every so often. So we've got Franks, starting area, the German paganism. We have a new kingdom, so building conversion rate minus 50%. So a lot in Attila. You can't hear what over music or me? Important question. Yeah, I think I've knocked the music off completely, but always worry me. Yeah, so in Attila you'll be attacking provinces quite a lot, so you will end up with moments where you're coming into new territories, especially the Franks, because you come in usually to Roman territories and you convert over their structures. So it was a massive drain on your resources. Yeah, I've turned the music off just in case you're wondering. And then you've got ferocious warriors, which is their faction trait. And as you can see there, minus 50 penalties from casualties suffered. Integrity, sorry, so that means your army can effectively move forward even though it's taking quite a lot of damage. Which is something that affects your army. So if you start losing quite a lot of battles, then the army's integrity starts to shoot down, and that means they're much less of a better fighting force, and they might end up disappearing every so often and fighting against you. I will put the music back on when we get into the game, and I will be playing today on the preview build, so you guys will be able to join me for 40 turns as I cruise through the Attila campaign. And at the bottom here on the Ferocious Warrior faction trait for the Franks, you've also got the 10 plus melee damage for every 25% casualty suffered by a unit. So, I mean, that is pretty good, considering you're going to be coming forward and invading new territories quite a lot. The fact that they just get stronger in fights is really, really good. Now, here's a faction I've been playing quite a bit as well. So here's Saxons. I was playing these out in San Francisco not so long ago, and I took the Saxons on a holiday cruise to the south of Spain, which I managed to make a nice home for them down in Cadiz, and that's where my campaign ended. That was my first entire run through. So along that kind of Saxon shore, the oceans and fields will burn with waves of fire and blades of fire. 100 plus income for every 10% damage to a settlement. So if you go there and just wreck the place, then you'll get a bit more money, which is definitely very good. And destroying settlements, as you'll see, is quite easy to do this time round. And then same kingdom trait, cultural trait as the Franks, building conversion rate -50, and like I said, that is amazingly good. Oh, +4 integrity in when raiding as well. That is another important part of the Saxon ethos. You go in there, you burn their territories, and your faction leader or sons or whoever is your army leader at the time will gain a lot more for it, and that's always good. So we'll go to the great migrators. Before I start butchering any names or anything, please bear with me, because not only do I slay people in the game, I also slay their names outside of it. So we go to the Vandals here. Arian Christianity. The great migrators cultural trait is going to be 25+ growth when initiating a migration or resettling. So when you're moving, when you start off, you get a lot more growth. And also when you are settling for the first time, which eventually you have to do in most cases. I mean, to be honest, you can play as long as you want in the migration, in the horde mode, but eventually you might want that settling down, especially depending on victory conditions as well. So, the faction trait, the Sea of Vandals, can recruit superior quality naval units, and you can get 150+ from raiding and sacking. That is in the income, so that is a very useful one. Especially considering majority of these barbarian factions, the Great Migrators, you're going to be spending a lot of your time raiding and sacking and just overall making a mess of anything and everything in your path. And that's a good way to sustain money, because you are technically, in most cases, losing quite a bit of money at the very beginning, so you've got to level it out slightly. So that is the Vandals. Interesting starting position there. Won't be able to get in play. They are out of the preview build. So Visigoths, very much the same. They are right near, in the heart of the Eastern Roman Empire here. Same as the Brevian, the Vandals. They have blood money as their faction trait, +10 to food when migrating through Roman territory. So pretty much focuses on you and going for the Romans, and you have a lot of Romans to pick from, Eastern and Western, and that takes up majority of the map as well. So that's a lot of places for you to go, and plus 500 tribute from the formation of tribute states. So if you're going through Roman territories, you're destroying the land, and then you can just turn them into client straits as you're walking through. So you can defend your flanks. More importantly, while you're make tribute states out of people as well, and client states and stuff like that, you can always get your guys replenished and so on, which is very, very important. Ostrogoths. I think Joey was playing this faction quite recently in a Hordes playthrough. Very strong faction. I've been playing with them quite a bit actually in my not so long ago campaign, which I managed to lose. But let's never mention that again. Faction trait, Inheritors of Rome. Civilizations may shift and change, but the internal city remains. So a faction that very much went in and took Rome historically. No instability when occupying settlements from a Roman faction. That is a faction-wide thing, and that is amazing, really good. And then you also can recruit Roman units in settlements with Roman military buildings. So, like I was saying with the barbarian factions before, with like the Franks and Saxons, having to convert buildings, it's not a small cost like it was in Rome too. It's massive now, so it's not something you can do lightly. You've got to plan out where you're going to settle, and you got to have a lot of booty to settle down, which is definitely a trait for Attila. Well, here we go, nomadic tribes. The fun as it is, the Huns are definitely here. Look at that guy, he's got the bow and the sword, and happy chappy he is. So, they are, well, there's no one else quite like them in this game, so we'll go on them. But cultural traits, Scourge of God, you know nothing. Hell is only a word, the reality is much, much worse. Well, on this guy, there you go. Enemy morale, -10 when fighting Christian factions. So, if you're a Christian faction, that ain't a good sign. Your morale will be even more brittle than usual, so very dangerous. And then, the faction trait, Horsemen of the Apocalypse. Conquest, 25 growth from raising settlements, plus integrity for every war being prosecuted. plus 20 famine, plus 20 food consumption in province where the horde is present. Now, if you are fighting against the Huns and they turn up in your territory, also death stops foreign replenishment in provinces where the horde is present. So, especially for when you're playing a faction which is just migrated and you finally decide to put your settle down and conquer territory, and then the Huns turn up, and they don't even have to attack you to cause you trouble. They just have to turn up in your territory, and all of a sudden your food consumption is drops off the board, and that can be very, very painful. So, the Huns, for more than just the fact that they can crush you in battle, the fact that they can starve you to death is another reason to keep running as far east away from them as possible. West. Well, you can go east, depending on where they are. Very, very dangerous faction. You can see they kind of spread out. We've got 3 separate armies there. And then we got the Western and Eastern Roman Empires. Now, we can play the Eastern Roman Empire in this campaign, so that is going to be played at some point over the next few days. Though, I must admit, I'm kind of worried about it, because if you see the initial challenge down here, it's very hard. And I can tell you, it's very hard. Attila is a different mindset to other total games, I feel like. You can't feel like you can hold on to all your territories. You've got to pick and choose which you will lose and which you won't. So, you've got to be careful with that. So, I'll just quickly show you the Western Roman Empire, because, I'm well aware some of you guys might have already seen a few videos that have been out there. There's extensive stuff on this right now. But if you've just tuned in, you don't know, and Total Attila, I'm going through it as best I can for you. So, cultural trait, can levy units from hordes passing through Roman territories, and Roman hordes will be coming. Roman hordes, not Roman hordes. We don't want Roman hordes coming through. When you have the great migrators, barbarians, anyone actually, you can recruit from them, and sometimes that means you can end up with some very lethal units. Eastern Roman Empire and Western Roman Empire, through history, were famous for taking as many barbarians from their notable enemies, including the Huns, who fought with, I think at least, I know they fought with the Eastern Roman Empire, probably for the Western as well. Small groups of them being just mercenaries for hire. So, you name it, they've all been there fighting at some point. And then you've got the faction trait down here, cultural integrity. Oh my god, I can't even say that one. This trait, men are men, and no matter their origins. Upkeep -2 per non-Roman unit in military force, and constant immigration, so that's improving your growth. There's the Eastern Roman Empire, and as you can see, the one Roman Empire which lasted the longest, in case you don't know your history, the Eastern Roman Empire, as it became known to historians and to many people, the Byzantine Empire. Though they would have called themselves Romans, they wouldn't have called themselves anything other than that. And their faction trait is economic powerhouse, which they are, straddled on the crossroads of the world and take pick of everything that passes through. Income 5+ interest on treasury at the end of a turn, and trade tariff plus 50%. So that's massive. And a very strong starting position if you can hold it all together. And then there's the Sassanid Empire, which Sassanids dating back to the line of Persian empires, so it's just a very ancient empire here. And cultural traits, they are alone at this very moment. So cultural trait, you have Grand School, +1 sanitation for every provincial capital held. And faction trait, King of Kings. Income +200 from tribute from puppet states, and puppet state levies +3 of each type of levy unit, which, considering, as you can see, the light red there is all of our tribute states, so or satraps as they used to be called, so or still called, they might actually be. And that does mean you can start recruiting quite a wide variety of units, and sometimes maybe bolster what you've already got. And they're in a very strong position, and you can see the initial challenge is very easy. I think they might actually, no, Saxons are as well. As I don't know what the normal. All right then, guys, let's get into this. Let's pick a faction: Saxons or Franks. I'm going to let you decide. And under this line, let's go. We unfortunately do not have Danes right now in the Viking Forefathers, which you can get if you pre-order. Do not worry, I've actually been playing a lot of the Viking Forefather units, especially the Geats. They've got some amazing faction traits, so I've been quite enjoying them at the moment. I'm seeing a lot of Saxons. Oh my god. It almost feels like it's 50-50. Alright. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do Saxons, and it's 40-10, so I'm going to do Franks for the sole purpose that they're the first one that comes up. Oh, but I can't play the Franks on the preview build. Completely forgot about that. At some point we'll have the Franks, but this is the preview build. The reason we're doing the preview build, guys, is this is a very early copy. This is the thing that everyone else that you've seen posting about has gone out with, and we can play like the development version, but it's constantly in motion. Loads of things are being changed. So this one is pretty much the one we're pretty sure that no things have been taken out or missing simply because people are working on them. So I hope you understand on that. So guys, we'll be playing the Saxons. Yeah, I know. I realised I just trolled like 800 or so people on that one, but. Yeah, don't worry. I'm going to put the difficulty up to hard because I've been playing quite a bit. When I say quite a bit, I've played maybe about 2 weeks worth, on and off. So let's see what we get. So I'm going to go live. I'm going to put the sound up, so I'll let you guys have some lovely music so you have something to balance out my horrible northern voice every so often. As I'm sure many of you are already getting sick of hearing it. Don't want it too loud. There we go. Okay, let's get the show on the road. Difficulty, hard, why not? Let's see how this goes.
The air was filled with smoke and blood. Rome was weak. The tribes grew in strength and number. Their roots went deep, and they felt the earth's blood pounding through the land. But their borders were threatened, for a great storm raged in the east. One by one, the tribes scattered as seeds in the wind. And behold, a red horse, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. The blood of their kin would be avenged.